She's called,
session.
yes, she has
Which
to call it because when you're not in session, you can't make a.
Okay, we're back in session. Is there another motion to reconsider application 2026-136 BOA?
Madam Chair, I have a processing question. Would the city of Irving process allow him to submit a new application for the next available? Not a reconsideration, but a new application with updated information? Get a new BOA number and a new public notice?
This one's not true.
It's all regulated by state law. So I would expect if it's the same case and the same request, that we can't just do it again, right?
All right, if he has new information, additional information, or conflicting information, would that make it a new case?
I believe counsel for the city is maybe approaching to enlighten us about their ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the Unified Development Code related to the Board of Adjustment has a provision that there is a one-year waiting period between the date of the ruling and any new case for the same piece of property.
Can that time be shortened or eliminated through a vote?
Statutes.
No, that would only be an amendment by the City Council through the zoning process.
So we don't allow with or without prejudice?
And then the 1 year means what?
It means it would have to be removed.
Within 1 year?
No, now, and in 1 year, he could reapply to put it back up.
And then if he doesn't remove it, what happens?
Then it would be a code enforcement case.
My house, yeah. So on page 2 of 3, in your information, in your evidence, item number 5 is not, item number 5 is incorrect, and item number 6 is incorrect, and item number 3 is incorrect. This is y'all's investigation. And that's not the latest picture that was submitted either.
Well, that's on
Page 37.
page 37 of the 90-page document.
Could you repeat which numbers you said?
So in case number 2026-136 BOA, I have to be in compliance with all of the 1 through 7 items, and 3 of the items in that are stated incorrectly. If those were stated correctly, I would be in compliance. They are not stated correctly. And that's the whole contingency for this case, is any of those items being, even one of them being wrong. You have 3 of them that I'm not in compliance with, but all 3 of those are misinterpreted on this form.
So how is that handled when there's appears to be discrepant information within the case itself?
That's up to each of you individually to consider all of the information and reach your own conclusion on whether there is compliance or not compliance.
Right, and
Based
that's
on what you've
okay.
heard.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because that's the logic that I thought.
And if it pleases the court, I would be happy to postpone this to August the 12th and come back with some strong, hard evidence that you guys could look at and make your own determination on whether or not the property has a one-car garage in the backyard, and whether or not there is adequate enough room between the home and the side property to provide vehicular access to the rear yard. And the other one is there is not adequate width on the side of the home behind the required front building line that would accommodate a covered parking structure. None of that can be done. None of it can be done. And it says, I do not comply. I can't comply with that. It's not possible.
I don't, what stage, do we have a motion? I don't know what stage we're at. I'm sorry.
You're discussing, you do not
We're
have a
just-
motion.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Are the questions, the ask, illogical or not correct, or the answer is illogical or not correct?
Number 3 says at least one of the following conditions exists. And the thing that makes that the primary dwelling was originally built with a one-car garage. It's not there anymore. There is another legally permitted non-conforming carport not on my block. Okay, that doesn't work. The carport will accommodate a disabled person's ability to access. That's gray. I can agree with that. Number 5 says there is not adequate distance width between the home and the side property line to provide a vehicular access. We have an existing driveway, but it is not adequate to get a vehicle from the front of the house to the backyard. It is not adequate. And then the number 6 one that comes in, there is not adequate width on the side of the building. And that is absolutely true. There is an existing drive, but it's not adequate to get me to the back of the property. It's not adequate. And I can't. So if I'm reading that question correctly, there is not adequate width on the side of the home behind the required front of the building. Correct. That would accommodate a covered parking. Correct. And here it says there is an existing driveway on the side of the property, and I'm not in compliance. The property line will not allow me to put covered parking there. That's why I put the structure. I chose a one-legged structure, or one-sided structure that I could put in my yard and not get on the other person's property. That's specifically why I chose that. Because it definitely would not be in compliance had I put it on the neighbor's property line. It butts right up. There's 18 inches of grass between her fence and my driveway. My mirrors are wider than that. I can't do it. The easements were different when the house was built. They were 3-foot easements, now they're 5-foot easements. And so things don't fit anymore. Things don't work anymore. House was built in 54. None of the easements work on it. When she put her fence in, she actually put it on my property, and I had to beg her to move it over a little bit. And she had to, just as a gentleman's agreement, we agreed to that. It's just too tight.
Madam Chair, I'm ready to make a motion on a reconsideration.
Make your motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we reconsider item BOA, 2026-136-BOA.
I'll second that.
Call for the vote.
I call to vote Call for the vote, yes,
I
I
am
call for a
calling for
vote.
the
I call
vote.
for a vote for reconsideration.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Calling for another motion to come before.
Madam Chair, I move that we keep the public hearing open and postpone this item to the next available Board of Adjustment meeting, at which time the applicant can bring forward some additional information proving his lack of compliance or compliance, depending on the items of 1 through 7.
Proving or
for
disproving those
review.
items.
I second that.
Call for the vote? Or is there any more discussion on that motion?
So since it just passed,
Passed.
That motion was a vote to reconsider because you already made a decision.
so now we're going into voting.
We're
Now-
voting on whether or not to postpone and allow him to come back with evidence. Okay, that's what we're voting for
That'd be wonderful.
or against, okay? So I'm calling for the vote.
Thanks.
That motion passes.
Thank you, folks. I believe that's all.
There's no further business to come before us.
I believe that's more than fair. Thank you very much.